Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. For the past few months since UFC 267, where Khamzat Chimaev got a dominant win over Li Jingliang, people have been speculating nonstop. What's next for Khamzat Chimaev? Who's he going to fight next? It's a question that I've been asked a million times. It's been all over like MMA websites. Oh, Khamzat calls out this guy calls out Khamzat. We may finally have an answer. Khamzat Chimaev posted a screenshot of messages between him and Gilbert Burns agreeing to a fight. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. There's a little bit of bad news within those messages, but still, overall, I absolutely love this fight. Let's talk about this fight first because this is a phenomenal matchup. And when I've talked in the past, and I've even made videos on it, of who I would like to see Khamzat Chimaev fight next, Gilbert Burns was number one. And I know Gilbert Burns is probably the toughest fight outside of Kamaru Usman for Khamzat, but that's what I love about this fight so much. It's very rarely that I will talk about an up-and-coming guy, and I'll say, throw him in with a top 5 guy. Even Gilbert Burns is top 2 guy. He's ranked currently number 2 in the UFC official rankings. But Khamzat Chimaev has just looked so good. And I'm a guy who kind of picks apart resumes a little bit. I've talked about, in the past, this guy's resume is terrible. And you look at his 4 wins within the UFC. The Gerald Meerschaert win back in September of 2020 is aged so well, knocking out Gerald Meerschaert with that picture-perfect right hand. That has aged so well because Gerald Meerschaert has since had a career resurgence. And then at UFC 267, after sitting out for a while with an illness, he fights Li Jingliang, goes out there and absolutely dominates him in what was supposed to be his toughest test. And I thought Li Jingliang was a perfect natural progression for Khamzat Chimaev's career. And now that he's beat a top 15 guy, I'm just ready to throw him in with the toughest possible matchup. And if he wins that fight, rather than people are saying, let's see him fight Neil Magny. I have no desire to see him fight Neil Magny. Neil Magny would get absolutely ragdolled by Khamzat Chimaev. I have no desire to see that. So I don't know anyone that's really dying to see that fight. For me, Khamzat has looked so good, even with the limited sample size. I know the first 2 opponents, John Phillips, Reese McKee, not the greatest fighters. I don't even believe they're no longer on the UFC roster. But either way, I feel like you can still gauge his skill because the wins were so dominant. And, for me, I have no desire to see him fight Neil Magny. There was a couple other matchups that were speculated. We had Bilal Muhammad kind of calling him out. I would have loved that fight as well. The Leon Edwards fight was scheduled 3 times and never came to fruition. It just seems like it wasn't meant to be. And now Leon Edwards is probably getting the next title shot against Kamaru Usman. So really, I know there was some talk about Colby Covington, but I don't think Colby Covington's taking that fight. But Gilbert Burns has talked about constantly he's looking for a fight. He's saying people are turning him down. So this was the matchup I wanted. I mean, think about this stylistically. You have Khamzat Chimaev, whose striking has looked very, very good, but again, limited sample size. His grappling and takedowns has looked absolutely phenomenal. His control on the ground, his ground and pound and submissions have looked absolutely phenomenal as well. And then you have Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a known elite of the elite welterweight. Almost stopped Kamaru Usman. I believe it was in the first round of their title fight back in February of 2021. And Gilbert Burns, what is he known for? Has excellent jiu-jitsu, has super stamina, amazing stamina, has great striking. And this is a guy that it's a very interesting matchup stylistically for Khamzat. Because Khamzat, and typically in his fights, he wants to take you down, maul you, ground and pound you, and eventually look for a submission or a TKO via ground and pound. What we've seen in the Kamaru Usman fight versus Gilbert Burns, he had so much respect for Gilbert Burns' jiu-jitsu that he didn't even want to go to the ground with Gilbert Burns. So I'm curious if Khamzat keeps it standing against Gilbert Burns. I'm curious if he does or he does try to take it to the ground. And if he does, how does his striking look? Because I've said this a million times, Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman is a fight that a lot of fans are fantasizing about right now. And if Khamzat's striking is as elite as some people think it is, if he's able to keep the fight standing against Kamaru Usman, which a lot of people, myself included, believe he will be able to, then that makes for a very interesting fight. Because Kamaru Usman, while he's a great champion, while he's an elite fighter, his hands are not that good. So I've said it before, anybody that can keep it standing with Kamaru Usman has a chance to defeat him. And I know he's knocked out a guy like, Jorge Masvidal, and he stopped Gilbert Burns on the feet. But these, especially the Jorge Masvidal knockout, was set up by the fact that Jorge Masvidal was worried about the takedown. So that is the reason that kind of set up the hands. But Khamzat Chimaev is going to be able to probably move forward on Kamaru Usman without worry about the takedown. He's going to be very confident in his defensive wrestling. Look what he went out there and did to Jack Hermanson in their wrestling match, a guy who's a actual huge middleweight. He was able to go out there and dominate him. So Khamzat Chimaev's, skill set just looks to be phenomenal. And now, we kind of fast track him to a title shot, because if he's able to defeat Gilbert Burns, there is no doubt in my mind he is next in line for a title. How could you deny him at that point? Even though he only has 2 solid wins, look who they're against. And defeating a guy like Gilbert Burns is no easy task. I mean, Kamaru Usman even had trouble in that first round, like I said. And I just absolutely love this stylistic matchup. And again, also, you have nobody in the welterweight division. They're either on losing streaks or they've already fought Kamaru Usman twice. You look, Colby Covington's already lost to Usman twice. Gilbert Burns lost to him once just recently in February of 2021. Leon Edwards is probably going to get a second shot at Kamaru Usman. In the meantime, Vicente Luque hasn't got a shot yet, but I don't think he's quite there yet. I mean, he's on a good streak. But, a win over Michael Chiesa probably doesn't earn you a title shot. He probably needs one more solid win. You look Bilal Muhammad, he just got that good win over Wonderboy Thompson, which a lot of people did not expect him to do. But I still think he needs another quality win. Jorge Masvidal's already lost to Usman twice. He's nowhere close. And then you have Wonderboy Thompson, who just lost his recent fights and was out-grappled in those fights, one of them being to Gilbert Burns. So if Khamzat Chimaev can go out there and defeat Gilbert Burns in early 2022 or midway through 2022, there is a chance we see Khamzat Chimaev fight for the welterweight title at the end of 2022. And I think this is the fight that a lot of people are hoping for in 2022, is the Usman versus Chimaev fight, just because Usman has looked so incredible and Khamzat has looked so incredible. And you look at the stylistic matchups, would be absolutely amazing. And for Khamzat Chimaev, with the level of hype that is surrounding him right now, if he's able to go out there and defeat Gilbert Burns, and then let's say he snatches the title off of Kamaru Usman at the end of 2022, I think, bold prediction right here, I don't know if this is that bold, I think Khamzat Chimaev can become one of the biggest stars in the UFC as far as draws, pay-per-view, all that. His name is absolutely blowing up already, and he only had, his best win is Lijiang Liang, which is a decent win for, only having 4 fights in the UFC. But I truly believe, as much of attention that he's getting right now, if he is able to do that in 2022, those 2 wins over those 2 quality guys, I mean, his name would blow up. He would be a massive pay-per-view superstar for the UFC. Now, real quick before I end the video, and first off, I'll give you my early prediction. I am, very torn on the Gilbert Burns-Khamzat Chimaev fight. I think that Gilbert Burns has great stamina, but I just think Khamzat is going to be able to keep it standing. I think Khamzat is going to be able to outstrike him. Don't hold me that 100%. I'm going Khamzat Chimaev. I'll say 3rd round TKO, because Gilbert Burns is known to be a little bit chinny. Khamzat's a little bit bigger. I'm just going to go with Khamzat Chimaev, but obviously I'll do a full breakdown and prediction as we get closer to the fight. Now, as far as the bad news that I talked about a little bit in the beginning, and, for me, I'm really torn because I love this matchup. It doesn't matter when it happens. But the speculated date, and I'll put the screenshot on the screen, is April 9th. I don't want to wait till April 9th. I mean, Khamzat is a guy who's wanted to stay active. He fought at the end of October. Let's get him in there as soon as possible. But I guess maybe if Gilbert Burns needs more time, I don't know. I don't think Gilbert Burns has fought since July. So I'm hoping the UFC can book that sooner. But, I mean, I guess if we have to wait for it, it's really not that far away. It's 3 months away. But still, I was kind of hopeful that we would see Khamzat Chimaev on a January or February card. I didn't want to have to wait till April to see Khamzat Chimaev back in action, one of the fastest growing stars in the sport. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video, comment down below on what you think of this fight, and thank you so much for watching.